Hey, what's up, fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, coming at you live from my garage, and this is the Fantasy Footballin Show. So today's episode is the player pause, which is just a start or sit for the Thursday night football game, and I am covering the Bengals specifically, while Jason covered the Dolphins. So I'm gonna get into this right now. It's going to be, so it's the Bengals versus the Dolphins. You should know this. Joe Burrow, he was on a slump for the first two games, but guess what? He broke out. So I would just ride that because, this happened when Kansas City got all their new offensive line. I mean, it took longer than 3 weeks for them to gel. But given they were going against the Jets last week, so he probably had more time than usual. But I see this trending up, not trending down or staying the same. Joe Burrow is going to perform better and better as the season goes on because of his offensive line issues being solved through, repetition, rapport, whatever you want to say. And he's going against the Dolphins defense, who is number 32 against quarterbacks, which is dead last as far as fantasy points given up. And, Josh Allen just threw for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson threw for he scored like 50 fantasy points against them. And you can see teams having to keep up with the Dolphins, so the quarterbacks score a lot of points. Easy play. You're going to play him anyways. You drafted him. Number 2, Jamar Chase. He had a down game for Jamar Chase last week. 6 for 29, but still got his touchdown. And that was against the Jets, So I didn't see this, but maybe he had Sauce Gardner on him, who is turning into a kind of a lockdown corner in his rookie year. But still, so Diggs had 7 for 74 and 11 targets versus the Dolphins last week. So they were able to contain Diggs because he was the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy, and to hold him to, 7 points without PPR is pretty dang good. So, but Jamar Chase is way bigger, stronger, faster. You can't really game plan for Jamar Chase. So since he had a down week last week, I bet you he gets, like 115 yards and a touchdown or something like that with a ton of targets. I'm thinking Joe Burrow gets, over 300 yards and probably about 3 touchdowns. So that's going to be a great game for him. Joe Mixon. I'm not telling you. Play Jamar Chase. Some of these are just super obvious, but I forget to say player pause. So Joe Mixon. He's not on the injury report right now. Doesn't even have a little Q next to his name on ESPN app. So you're going to just bank on him playing as of now. But check the injury report tomorrow. Jason said it's 4 p.m. Eastern or something like that. So he only went 12 for 24 versus the Jets. He's in a slump. But versus the Jets, he got 7 targets. He went 3 for 14, but he had 7 targets. Singletary last week against the Dolphins had 9 for 78 receptions. So he had 9 receptions for 78 yards and a touchdown. So even if Joe Mixon doesn't get anything on the ground, I can see him getting, he's probably going to get 75 yards on the ground and maybe 50 yards through the air, and he's going to get a touchdown probably on the ground. If he does, I would say Joe Burrow only throws 2 touchdowns. Sam J. Perine. Yeah, so you're playing Mixon if he plays. But if he, it doesn't look like he's going to sit it out. And then Perine, I know a lot of people wanted to pick him up after last week and everything. But you're going to pause on him, but just keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on the injury report, because if he does play, you're going to want to play him. He went 9 for 47, and he caught 2 passes for a touchdown against the Jets. So, again, the running backs are going to catch a lot of balls in this game for Cincinnati. So pause on Perine, but if Mixon's out, you better play him. T. Higgins, 5 for 93 on 7 targets versus the Jets. So he seems to be the most consistent player on the Bengals as far as targets go. So I would bet that he probably the second leading receiver for the Bills last week, the one who got the second most targets was McKenzie, and he got 76 yards on a touchdown. So I would bet that Higgins catches one of Burrow's touchdowns and gets around 80 yards, 80, 90 yards, something like that. And then, so now we go to the tight ends. Hurst, he only caught one ball last week versus the Jets, but Dawson Knox caught 4 passes and for 25 yards for the Bills against the Dolphins last week. So they do allow some tight end stuff. And Hurst usually gets targets this year. I know it was Joe Burrow's breakout game and he didn't target Hurst that much, so that's kind of a concern. But it's a tight end, man, and you want to play your tight end on a Thursday night, so because it's fun. So I say play him. All right, so Boyd, he was the big winner last week, and if you know anything about Tyler Boyd, I had him 2 years ago, and he was amazing for me until I figured when Joe Burrow's rookie year, target monster. But then they got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and now he just has a target monster game, like, I don't know, once a quarter of a season, so what, like 4 games in the season? He just had his last week, so unless this continues on, I don't know. You just don't trust in Boyd right now. Pause. And so just because inconsistency, he has a chance to go off, but I mean, it's not like you're flipping a coin. It's like you're flipping a coin twice and getting heads twice. I think that's only 25%. Bengals defense. Pause. Because you don't want to mess with that Tua fire. It's pretty obvious. And then McPherson, he doesn't even have hemoglobin or blood because he's got ice in his veins. So you start Evan McPherson because, I don't know, man. It's a kicker. He's a good kicker. There's going to be a lot of points in this game. Just put him in there. So anyways, that is the player pause. Starter sit for week 4, Thursday Night Football. Dolphins versus the Bengals. And that is it. If you like this video, please click one of those thumbs, preferably the one pointing towards my face, and subscribe, because that makes everything so worth it. I know I watch a lot of stuff and I don't like or subscribe, but man, when it happens to me, it makes me feel so good. I should start doing it more. And if you don't like this video, you can dislike it, and you can leave hurtful comments per usual. So thank you so much. Good luck tonight, and I will see you later.